we got some pictures, some eye candy to throw up, and maybe Dawn, can you take us through the 62 Ranchero build? I can see it on the lift back there. What do you got going for that build?
Basically, it's a car that one of, from my previous past of just building cars, I got this one off of Craigslist. And again, going back to being a firefighter, you have a lot of downtime. And so I was on the computer, found this thing, but I was at work. And the guy had it for sale. This was maybe, God, I've had this probably at least 12 years now, 13 years. Um, so I'm like, oh, I can't break away from work. Is there any way? Because I bought it for $700. The
Wow.
guy drove it from San Diego to Tucson, he says. So that was enough to sell me on it. Oh, at least it runs. And but when so he said, well, I have a scooter and I can come to your station and I can offload it and then go from there. And I'm like, okay, as long as you're good with me, maybe writing you a check or something. So he showed up, and pictures always do a lot better than real life. So it was from San Diego. He must have lived a block or 10 feet from the beach because the roof, the floor, everything, it looked just almost as nice as, really solid on the passenger side. But he must have parked it consistently facing the sea
Oop.
because I could stick my hand from the roof down into the passenger
Jeez.
compartment.
Did it have a stop
And
sign in the floor?
no, he didn't even go that far. Like, I think some of the pictures I might have included, I was redoing the floors. And so that was a downer. Anyways, he shows up and I take it for a test ride and everything's going great. But then on the way back, I'm bringing it back around the fire station. Again, I'm on duty. And
He's
I
retired
go,
now, so
yeah,
he
so
can't get in trouble.
whatever happens here. But I go to hit the brakes and he yells, pump the brakes. And when you're like in the middle of that like chaos, you kind of panic. And so we were coming around the station. I'm going to park. He has a scooter in the back so he could leave. And I go to hit the brakes and nothing's happening. And
Oh my
he's
God.
yelling, pump the brakes. And all I could think of was to like jam the shifter on the transmission in the park, but that's still kind of overrode, and I slam into the fire station. So
Oh.
it's a car with a story. Again, like I said, they're your children, so I can never get rid of this thing because of that story.
Unruly
So we
child.
have to call the chief, and I have to tell him, hey, I didn't leave the station, but he was gonna come, and so anyways, the guy, I tell him, look, get on your scooter, go home, here's your money, whatever. Because in Arizona and a lot of other places, as long as you have insurance with another car, you're insured. So I had to make sure of that. Anyways, that was the birth of this car maybe 13 years ago. And I restored it like completely, like did the inside, did the floors, did the uh, uh, oh, learn to use an English wheel to do the curves and sawed off the drips. And it was a great car. A little, back then I could show it and be pretty proud of it. But it had a 144 cc motor. It was never going to win any races. Could barely get out of its way, but I still loved driving it. And so again, one of the cars that just kind of sat, I loved, um, would always kind of run when I wanted it to, but always still had its problems. For a 1962, you had vacuum windshield wipers, so you can't drive it in the rain, that kind of
Sure.
stuff. So this one became the candidate, because I was like, well, how do I this is such a learning curve to do electric, for a lot of us, like even having um regular mechanics, ice mechanics as a past, you feel really confident, like, okay, I can build whatever, I can do that. But like just learning how to hook up the, what does the inverter do? What does all these components that are outside of what you normally do, you're learning. Biggest thing for me was where do I put the batteries? So I was like, well, I got a car with a truck bed. That'll take care of half of that. And so that kind of became the candidate to become an electric car. And then I was like, well, I'll buy an old Tesla. Well, you're not going to get into a used or crashed Tesla for less than, $6,000 to $8,000 even.
Hmm.
So, well, what's the next best thing? Oh, I rode in a Leaf. Those are pretty spunky little cars,
Yeah.
underrated, just great cars. But what's their Achilles heel? The battery.
Hmm.
So, I'm learning and learning and like buying a old uh Leaf that I just find and okay, I'm gonna take the guts out of this and put the guts in that because that's what I do. I have a Studebaker in the back, 57 Studebaker. It's sitting on a 2000 Dodge chassis. So by all looks, every angle, it looks like an old car, but it's got power steering, power brakes, modern engine. So I wanted
Cool.
the same thing for this, you
Mm.
know, that my Tesla had, instant acceleration. And the Leaf is a great motor for that. And then I'm like, well, what do we do for a trans? Well, what's another, co- you know, it's so hard to find a manual transmission anymore. Oh, but Miatas, nobody buys a Miata with an automatic.
Yeah.
So, and I knew a lot of guys that autocrossed them, and they beat these things to heck, and they just keep coming back for more. That's a great one. So, yeah, that's what sparked our basically our crate situation. We could put this combo into anything, and you'll see like on Rocky's truck, it's gonna fit great too. So this one, like I said, did a lot of like custom things, Frenched the antennas, did a custom interior, all that, and it was gas, sat forever, um, and just decided this is going to be the electric car. Now you go from 50 horsepower to what am I thinking
You
now?
got the
100
you
horse,
got
yeah,
the
110
110 kilowatt.
horsepower.
Yeah.
You've doubled the
Yeah.
horsepower, and the car, as in its original form, still I drove it on the highway and it was fine. It's going to be twice of what it was, you know. And
And you don't have to worry about it sitting for
yeah,
tons of
let it
periods of
sit.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
just everything about that, the oil, and this one had the leaded was on didn't have hardened valve seats, so I had to
Mm.
always put the lead additive in there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
Gnarly.
eventually it still started smoking. I mean, these things that like these, and again, I come from a diehard hot rod background where like, if it's not making a lot of noise, it's not cool and all this stuff and I feel like it's almost like political. I've been alienated by a lot of my old hot rod friends that like I can't believe you're doing that to
But you do
this
have
beautiful car.
a lot of your hot rod friends are embracing it,
Yes,
right? I
yes,
mean,
They
yeah.
want to
I've
go
talked to
Yeah,
some
fast.
guys that do.
yeah. It's not it's just like you have open-minded friends, you have open-minded friends. But like and once they take a ride in the Tesla, for instance, I induced my diehard hot rod friend. He got vertigo and wanted to throw up. I mean, no
Ha.
gas car has ever done that to him. So, there's no denying the performance, and it's going to be better. Oh, and that was another thing. I was like, well, so I've got the whole big bed back there, and I was thinking, we'll just throw them all in the bed. But he comes along and is with the scanner. We realize you can still have this bed. And we just split up the batteries and we optimize where we're going to put them. And for perfect weight distribution, because that's the heavy part, you're going to put 2 units in the front, up to 6 in the back, but it's all hidden. The beauty about this, the old Rancheros is they had this like smuggler's compartment, for running drugs or moonshine or
Or a
whatever
cooler.
it was, and it flips up. Uh, and you've got, actually that's where like all the you could put tools and stuff. So we figured, hey, we can do up to 4 or 6 battery modules in here.
Awesome.
So we're actually going to still have the bed. It's still going to be super functional. It's this time it's going to have AC and electric power steering and those kinds of things, and it's just going to be super modern. And I won't be trying to get out of my own way.
So is this done and running right now or almost done?
Yeah, the we have it like up and turning the wheels on its own, but I
Cool.
haven't. I'm still needing to take it for a maiden voyage. But like as far as the pedal, all the drive systems, they're in place. It's going forwards, backwards. You know, almost have to like control myself not to go full speed on the lift, but it's almost there. Yeah.
And it is a good looking car too. It's got some custom touches to it. It's lowered a little bit. He's got some custom
Mhm.
pinstriping. It's
Yeah.
not just a 62 Ranchero. He's shaved some the drip rails
Yeah.
and Frenched the antenna. So it's a custom vehicle. And that's one of the things that I think the evolution is striving for is we're not just going to build cars that are, or when we do build cars, we can talk about that a little bit, but when we do build cars, we're not just going to make another version of the same car. It needs to be a custom thing. It needs to be a custom vehicle, not just I restored a whatever but I made it electric. It needs to be a custom vehicle. It needs to look nice and aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And that's what we all love. So for this, as far as the technical bits, so did I hear it's a leaf stack, and then you're mating that up to a Miata 5 speed, and then are you using the Leaf battery pack, or are you using different batteries for it?
No, we're using the batteries from an ID4 for
Oh,
that
interesting.
the MEB batteries. Those are great. They come all encased in their own module. Um, and I'm actually going to have to redistribute those modules. You'll see on Rocky's design, it's pretty clever how he'll be able to keep them all together. But so both we're gonna and that'll be even part of our future product lines is how to do a double stack, a four stack, or whatever configuration you're wanting to or need to distribute the batteries. But the MEBs are great. They're easy to understand. They and then they come in two kilowatt configurations. So I got the little bigger one, which is
You have an 82 kilowatt hour
82.
pack.
Yeah.
That's the 8S or yeah, 8S3P. But
Yeah.
each module has 24 cells, and then they just series and parallel them differently to
Right.
get different kilowatt hour, different capacity packs. So you got the larger capacity one,
So
82
it
kilowatt.
makes a problem to figure out where to put all 12,
Yeah.
but then he has the eight
Mine's a nine
module
module,
or nine module, sorry.
62 kilowatt hour, nine module version that are
Yeah.
12S2P. Yours is 8S3P.
Yeah. And both 355 watt or
Yeah, they're all run same
355.
voltage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
yeah,
cool.
I'm trying to learn all the I
Hey,
can't say horsepower, can't say
Oh, you can say it.
yeah.
Are these water cooled batteries?
they are, but they're not water cooled the same way a Tesla is. So the Tesla packs have that little like serpentine ribbon that goes between each of the cylindrical cells.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how familiar you are with all these,
Working
but
knowledge, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
not an expert.
okay, so for to ground the conversation, the Tesla modules have a whole bunch of little cylindrical cells inside of them.
Right?
Then there's a little ribbon that goes in between, like a little copper hollow ribbon that goes in between the cells, and it kind of serpentines through the pack. And so it makes contact with the cylindrical part of each cell, and it wicks heat away that way. These aren't like that. Imagine the MEB batteries. These are made by LG Chem. Imagine a giant 9-volt battery. That's what it looks like. And it's a big aluminum box with two connections on it, positive
Mm.
and negative. It even has a little plus and a little
Yeah.
negative. It looks just like a giant 9-volt. And then you cool it Volkswagen cools them from the bottom. There's like they sit on a chill plate.
The plate.
That
Okay.
chill plate has liquid going through it, and that's what's cooled. And we'll do the same thing.
Conduction,
Yeah.
direct
Yeah.
conduction.
That's still a
We
big
actually,
improvement over the Leaf pack. It's like you
Yeah.
said,
yes.
that's the weak point of Leafs is that they're not cooled at all.
Yeah.
It's a plus and a minus. It's like if you're a converter and wanting to use a Leaf, you can get a Leaf for $1,000 because more
Yeah.
than likely that battery pack is dead and the car is pristine. Everyone I find is like that. And so we just take what we need from that and like the rest you can sell off, you'll make your money back. But it's really the only car in that league, so they are improving it. The new one is going to be liquid cooled probably and more reliable, but those battery packs are just not the way to go for long-term use of a car. And these they come in the ID4. It's the MEB. They call it MEB group, and it comes in Audi.
Yeah, the Audi e-tron, the Volkswagen ID3 and ID4. There's also some other European
Yeah,
cars
the
that it
the new
shows up in.
VW bus that they
Yeah.
came out with
Those are
uses them.
cute.
Ford uses them in a couple
Yeah,
different platforms. So, and you can buy them brand new too if you want. You can buy them brand new,
Mm.
yeah.
those modules. So they
And they're
have a
very
high,
robust.
yeah,
So
they have a high C rating. So, I
Do you know the
we
C
really like
rating
those.
offhand?
What's that?
Do you know the C rating offhand?
I, so they're rated at 3C, but people have been known to get much more out of them than that.
Hmm.
So if you want to drag race or anything like that, you can get them. And also, not to poo-poo the Leaf pack. I mean, if you want simplicity, if you don't want to deal with cooling and you just want it to be very, very straightforward, it is, if you can find one that has its capacity
Hmm.
still, it's a great starter. But if, we are designing and building cars and components with longevity in mind. We want to drive them long distances. We want them to last a long time. And so we chose to go a different route.
Yeah. I'm really liking this kind of platform or formula you guys are putting together. It sounds really cool. Is that the same recipe, if you will, that's going in the 91 Tacoma?
Yeah, almost exactly the same. And so the 91 is referred to as just a Toyota pickup. This is pre-Tacoma. So if
Ooh,
you go look up, this is the granddaddy of the
look at me
Tacoma.
getting it wrong.
And so yeah, look at me being well, actually,
the nerd.
I love
The
it.
Toyota nerd.
I need that, Rocky. Please
uh,
keep me honest.
yeah, my siblings hate it, but whatever. And so the Leaf motor coupled with the Miata transmission is the same. We're using that here. Um, and then I'm going to use the same batteries, but as Don alluded to, I don't have to repackage mine because the truck I'm actually going for a little different look. Going back to what I said earlier, we're not just electrifying cars and then vehicles and then leaving them as is. His vehicle is custom and it looks very cool. My truck is going to be similar. We're going to build a flatbed, like an aluminum flatbed, work truck looking situation, kind of like a
Cool.
ute, like an Australian ute kind of flatbed truck. The battery will be integrated into that truck bed, and the bed will also have provisions for all the things that we like to do, like ride electric dirt bikes or dirt bikes in general. We'll also have compartments in the bed that will house everything that you need. So everything will be
Oh,
all
that's right.
encompassed. So you could effectively take this truck bed that has everything that you need in it, and any compact truck that exists, definitely for that generation of Toyota, it'll just bolt right on. But even the generation before this of Toyota and any of those old compact trucks that you and I remember, like the old S10s, the Ford Rangers,
Rangers,
the
yeah.
Nissans, those you can basically take the bed off, put this new one on, have your Leaf coupled to a Miata transmission with our proprietary coupler on it and motor mounts, and you're ready to go. We are also developing a thermal plate to heat and cool the batteries. Like Don has to rewicker the pack. Well, we're going to have cool thermal plates that will provide the cooling and the heating needed for those modules if you have to repackage the whole entire battery pack.
Plus, it makes it rapid charge compatible.
Yeah, so that's the one big difference is some of these plates that exist, I think I don't know how well the designers understand the thermal capacity of their plates, but uh, at least according to my calculations, my plates, the ones that I designed and that Don's helping prototype, uh, can handle DC fast charging even here in the hot desert in the middle of the day. So we've done computational fluid dynamics and heat transfer analysis on the designs. So in math world, it works. Now we got to build one and try it. And that's where Don really shines. He helps think of creative ways to build things and prototype them and
Creative,
uh,
you mean cheaper and innovative, like
but
like how to test this stuff without
with things that we
going out.
have
Yeah,
because in Department of Defense world, I have everything I need. I
yeah.
have test facilities. I have all the resources. We're here in Don's shop, and although it's a wonderful shop, you know, we don't have the resources to do every little test that I would ever dream up doing. And so Don's great at thinking about creative ways to make the things, make them work properly, and how to test them. So that's part of where we're at with that thermal plate too. So those three things we'll hopefully have to market late this year, early next. The MEB battery thermal plates, the Nissan Leaf motor mounts that can be coupled with our adapter plate that can mount up to a Miata transmission, 5 speed or 6 speed. They both will, all those will match up. And we have a clutched version that runs a clutch and a clutchless version too.
Or the whole
That's so
crate
cool.
setup even.
Yeah. And then we have other things on the back burner too that we'll be developing next year once this is all fleshed out.
Well, man, I have so many questions because this is really interesting, and I love what you guys are doing. The cars are both beautiful, and I look forward to seeing those products hit the market. A lot of Leaf is a popular component, but I think you guys are the first folks that I've seen that are ditching the Leaf battery and having another solution there, which I think is really powerful. Plus, if people haven't already seen it, go on their Instagram. Like the motor mounts that you guys put together, like those things are cherry. They look so good. Just very high quality parts.
Lack of a better term, like a crate motor type setup, right? All you need to do is now outfit it to your vehicle. It's a rear wheel drive converted from front wheel. It's got the motor mounts. The adapter plate is robust. I've done all the analysis, all the structural analysis that would go into like an OEM level technical rigor. I've accounted for shock and vibe. I've accounted for crash tests. I've accounted for all these things. We don't have the money to go and do the prove-in test. Like that's millions of dollars to go to proving grounds and test all those things. But the level of rigor is there. The threads on the every bolt has been picked strategically. Nothing exists because it's should work. It exists because analytically at least shows that it's good to go. Um, Nothing's been made where it's like you look at it. It's more than just a packaging exercise. It's not just it bolts together, it fits, looks like it's strong enough, it's good. And I'm not saying that that's because that's what got us here. That type of thinking and that type of thought process got us here. But as a father and a husband, Don same way. I don't want to put our families in vehicles that we've modified heavily and not have at least some kind of thought process behind what goes into these vehicles structurally because we've modified them. I mean, we've got 1,000 pound battery pack now
Yeah.
sitting inside of this thing. So that's a big deal to me.
Yeah,
I
and I
really
think that's
appreciate that. And I got to admit that as I've gotten older, I've gotten much more aware of just how bad things can go. And I mean, that's just in daily life. I joke about I like make fun of myself. Like cutting onions has never been more high stakes. It's like, oh, all right, we're paying attention now. We got a knife on the board. But even just things like driving in traffic and building cars, and I love to race cars. It's like, okay, we got to be really safe about this. And your presentation at State of Charge really resonated with me because of that rigor that you had put in. And it makes me feel like this is the types of analyses and the types of builds that I would love to see more and more of.